Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin just played out a fake out to the downside to wipe out a bunch of liquidity on the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, but we now have new price targets that we need to pay attention to in the immediate short term as the Bitcoin dominance is continuing to play out the bearish divergence, while the price of Ethereum is now also playing out a short-term bearish divergence as the price of Solana just exactly hit the technical price target and is now completing this price pattern, while the price of Chainlink is also now playing out a short-term bearish divergence. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, starting off on the weekly Bitcoin price chart, and the super trend indicator is still sitting in the green, indicating a larger bullish market. And on this weekly Bitcoin price chart, we still have a bearish divergence forming, but not yet confirmed. So something to watch out for, but nothing to really act on as of right now. And if we're taking a look at the 3-day Bitcoin price chart, in the immediate short term, we're still losing a little bit of bullish momentum, but we're still overall looking more bullish than bearish on this chart right here. And on this 3-day Bitcoin price chart, technically we still have an active cup and handle pattern, a bullish price pattern still actively playing out with a bullish price target at approximately $153,000 per Bitcoin, because that price target right there would only invalidate if we see a confirmed break with candle closes back below this line right here, which is sitting at around 110,000. So at least for now, once again, on these larger timeframes, we're still looking more bullish than bearish, still in a larger bull market, despite what happens on the smaller timeframes. And if we're taking a look at the daily Bitcoin price chart, obviously the price of Bitcoin is still basically just consolidating sideways just underneath a major area of resistance, which is still sitting in between roughly 120,000 to 123,000, which is really centered around this Fibonacci extension level, sitting at around 121.5k approximately. So once again, at least for now, we still have a lot of resistance around there on the price chart, causing the price to struggle to go further towards the upside, at least for now in the shorter term. But even though we are losing a little bit of bullish momentum right now, and of course still struggling around that major resistance, we're not necessarily looking bearish. Once again, the larger trend at play is still currently bullish. We can see little short-term cool-offs and short-term pullbacks here and there during a larger bullish trend or bull market. So at least for now, we're simply just taking a bit of a short-term break, a pause during the larger bullish trend. And if we're taking a look at this 4-hour Bitcoin price chart, we can see that over the last one day, we actually saw a fake out for this symmetrical triangle pattern, also known as a horizontal triangle pattern, with a break below this line of support, which was sitting at around 117.3k, give or take. And then obviously once we broke to the downside here, we actually then confirmed a candle close back above that line, technically invalidating the break to the downside and invalidating this price pattern. And so in other words, we failed the retest phase for this break to the downside here, because usually when it comes to a break of these sort of patterns, often we see some sort of retest. Basically, if we break out to the upside, oftentimes we come back for a retest to flip previous resistance into new support, or in this example right here, we break to the downside, come back towards the upside to try and flip previous support into new resistance. And essentially, if we see a further rejection actually confirming that as new resistance, then that's another confirmation signal helping to confirm the break to the downside. But because obviously we came for a retest and then ultimately broke back above that level, we failed at that retest and failed the break to the downside, therefore invalidating the price pattern. And so what this actually tells us is that at least for now in the shorter term, we're lacking momentum to either direction. We don't really have a lot of bearish or a lot of bullish momentum right now, at least in the immediate short term. Once again, if we're zooming out to the larger timeframes, we're still in a larger bull market, but right now in the immediate short term, talking about a period of hours or days, maybe over the next week, that sort of time frame, expect very low momentum to either direction. So in other words, most likely a little bit more choppy sideways price action is a very likely scenario, especially with what's just happened over the last one day, telling us we're not really seeing a lot of follow through to either direction. We're just chopping around sideways. And potentially another reason as to why we saw this slight little move towards the downside over the last one day and then a bounce from that move onwards is due to the fact that that may have just been a liquidity grab to take out some liquidity to the downside that was starting to build over the last one day at around $116,000 per Bitcoin. So as we can see here in the Bitcoin liquidation liquidation heat map, we took out that liquidity with that little break to the downside here at close to 116,000. And then exactly after we already wiped out that liquidity right there, obviously we saw a little bounce towards this upside liquidity, but at least for now, we have not actually taken out that upside liquidity, at least not yet. And that's sitting at just under 120,000. So around 119.8K to 120,000, which means it is quite likely that maybe we might see another little test of that level to take out that liquidity there. But at least for now, we don't really have any significant level of liquidity to focus on. So basically over the next couple of days, we just have to wait for more liquidity to start to build in this Bitcoin liquidation heat map to be more confident in the next direction in the price of Bitcoin. But for now, once again, we just have a small amount at 119.8K and also a small amount at 115.7K. And so those are some potential short-term price targets for the price of Bitcoin. But overall, once again, in the immediate short term, we're currently lacking momentum to either direction, looking relatively neutral right now, still struggling just underneath a major area of resistance, but zooming out, once again, still in a larger bull market. That is the current situation for the price of Bitcoin. And if you actually want to get set up ready to go to take trading opportunities for the price of Bitcoin or any other crypto, obviously you have to be set up ready to go on a crypto exchange. And personally, I'm taking a lot of my crypto trades over on BTNX, so I'll make sure to leave a link to BTNX below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here where you can claim some massive trading and deposit bonuses. For example, if you deposit just $1,000, you get a $200 bonus into your BTNX account, but only if you use that link. And you can also get some massive trading bonuses going all the way up to $40,000 in trading bonuses just by trading crypto using that link. So if you're going to be trading crypto anyway or preparing to take the next trading opportunity, you might as well get set up ready to go using that first link below this video to BTNX to take advantage of these major bonuses here. And in case you're wondering, BTNX is a no KYC exchange, which means you can access it from basically any country in the world without needing any KYC. But as always, check your local regulations when it comes to trading crypto. And for whatever reason, if you don't want BTNX as an exchange, there's also 2bit as another option out there, another exchange that I also trade on. So I'll also make sure to leave a link to 2bit below this video. And if you use that link, it'll take you to this page where you can also claim some major bonuses, like for example, up to $50,000 in trading bonuses and also a $30 sign up bonus and a 20% deposit rebate up to a max of 200 USDT, as we could see. So for example, if you deposit just $1,000, you get a $200 bonus into your 2bit account, but once again, only if you use that link. So if you're going to be trading crypto anyway or preparing to take the next trading opportunity, once again, you might as well check this out, the first and second link below this video. And in case you're wondering, 2bit is also a no KYC exchange. But with that being said, taking a look at the Bitcoin dominance chart on the 3-day time frame, and at least for now, the bearish divergence is still active on this chart right here. As we can see, we've not yet confirmed any invalidation signal to invalidate the bearish divergence, which means at least for now, we're still currently looking bearish, especially in terms of the momentum or the price structure. Obviously, as I explained in recent videos here on the channel, yes, we could see little short-term bounces here and there along the way towards the downside, kind of like this, for example. But overall, once again, we're still pointing in the bearish direction when it comes to the momentum or the trend, at least for now. And so overall, while the dump in the Bitcoin dominance continues, especially if this sees another dump later on, obviously continuing to play out the bearish divergence, that's actually good news for the altcoin market. And with that being said, if we're taking a look at Ethereum on the 3-day time frame, Ethereum is just now starting to run into this very significant area of resistance in between roughly 3.9K to 4.1K. And obviously in my last video just yesterday, as the price was approaching this area of resistance, I said expect very soon a lot of profit taking starting to happen. Expect the price to struggle a lot around here very, very soon over the next couple of days. And already over the last one day, we have started to see a little bit of profit taking, a lot of Ethereum traders taking some profits off the table after this major bullish move. So just don't be surprised. And as I already said, once again, just recently here on the channel over the last couple of days, do not be surprised if over the next few days, most likely throughout the week, we're going to see a lot of profit taking for Ethereum, causing the price to struggle, at least in the short term. And if we're taking a look at the daily Ethereum price chart, if we see a little bit more of a pullback here, I would expect some support at close to 3.7K, which we're trading roughly around as of recording this video. But if we see a further pullback, expect a lot more support at around 3.5K and also at around 32.50 if the price were to get to those levels. levels. Once again, expect support at those levels. And looking at the immediate short term, just on the 2-hour time frame, we can see that right now Ethereum is playing out a short-term bearish divergence with higher highs confirmed in the price and lower highs confirmed in the 2-hour Ethereum RSI. And so what this actually means for the price, at least in the immediate short term, once again, over the next 1 day, 1 or 2 days, is that we're most likely going to see either a slight pullback like this, or at best a bit of choppy sideways price action. So in other words, don't expect a significant bullish move towards the upside just over the next 1 or 2 days in the immediate short term. Obviously, the larger trend, price structure, and momentum is still overall very bullish right now. We're still very much in a larger bullish trend, especially if the Bitcoin dominance continues dumping ultimately. Once again, that's bullish for Ethereum and a lot of the major altcoins. But just in the short term, over the next couple of days or so, expect once again a lot of profit taking close towards this resistance, which we're already starting to see causing the price to struggle. And with now this bearish divergence playing out in the shorter term, expect the price to also struggle a little bit in the short term. And if we're taking a look at the price of Solana on the daily time frame, as of recording this video, the price of Solana is attempting a breakout above this very important area of resistance, the golden pocket area of resistance, sitting in between around 191 to 199. And as of recording this video, the price is sitting at very close to $200, but we're still waiting for a candle close on the daily time frame to actually confirm, ideally above $200, in order to actually confirm this breakout here. So at least for now, once again, we're just attempting a breakout, but still waiting for confirmation. But if we see confirmation here, if we see that candle close above 200, and especially if we now hold above this area as new support, in that situation, obviously, they'll be extremely bullish for the price of Solana and would likely see a continued bullish move to ultimately continue the bullish trend towards the next major Fibonacci level, the Fibonacci retracement level, sitting at around $230. And so obviously from the current price at roughly 200 to 230, that's around a 15% move towards the upside with no leverage, or for example, a 10x leverage long position would be around 150% profit in that example, not financial advice. And if the price actually fails this breakout here, if we see some sort of rejection without confirming the breakout, ideally above 200, in that situation, I would expect a lot of support in between around 180 to 185. And if we're zooming into the shorter term, taking a look at the 8-hour Solana price chart, we can see that right now, just over the last 1 day or so, we've now officially completed the bullish cup and handle pattern, the bullish price pattern that I've been talking about every day since this first breakout right here, which was sitting at around $158. And so obviously, congrats to any of you that have been watching my videos over the last couple of weeks. If any of you actually took this trading opportunity by either opening a trade, for example, a long position at this breakout, or if you just wanted to wait for a breakout above that resistance at 167, either way, if you open a long position there, you would have done obviously very well. If you took some profits roughly around the price target, maybe you still have some of the trade open and just you took some profits or slightly reduced the size of the trade at this price target. But either way, obviously, with any sort of long position here, you would have done very well. For example, if you open the trade at roughly 168 to that price target, that's still around a 15% move towards the upside, or from the first breakout point at 158 to the price target, that's around a 23% move towards the upside with no leverage, or a 10x leverage long position is once again around a 230% profit in that example. And so this is an example of obviously a trade working out very well, and one very good trade like this can more than cover some sort of fake out scenario like this Bitcoin trade right here. Let's just say if you open a short position with this first confirmation signal and then ultimately close the trade once we broke back inside the triangle, taking a small loss. Obviously, occasionally you'll have situations like this, but for as long as you have the occasional situation like this trade for Solana, one trade like this more than covers a few little bad trades if you're taking only small losses but large profits. And so obviously, now that we've hit the price target and surpassed the price target for this cup and handle pattern, obviously the pattern is now complete, and I'd no longer be focusing on this pattern anymore because it's already played out. So ultimately just focus on support and resistance levels on this price chart, and obviously the larger trend is still currently bullish for the price of Solana. And if we're taking a look at the price of XRP on the weekly time frame, we still have a possible bearish divergence to watch out for, which will likely confirm at some stage, most likely in a few weeks or a few months from now. So not right now. Right now, obviously, it's still just possibly forming, but not confirmed. And of course, I'd expect a lot of support at roughly $3 if we were to see any sort of major pullback. And as for the next major price target, that's still sitting at this 2618 Fibonacci extension level on the weekly time frame, sitting at around $4.60 to $4.70. So from the current price as of recording this video, that's still around more than a 30% move towards the upside, towards that next major Fibonacci extension level. And if we're taking a look at the daily XRP price chart, at least for now, we also have a lot of short-term support in between $3.30 to $3.40. So if we see a little bit of a pullback, once again, expect a lot of support around there, $3.30 to $3.40, based on previous resistance, which has already recently flipped into new supports, as we've seen over the last half a week to almost 1 week now. Obviously, we broke out above the previous all-time high and then actually retested that level and actually bounced from that level, which is bullish price structure. And so overall, XRP is still looking extremely bullish. It is quite likely that we're going to hang around all-time highs for a little longer and most likely push into new all-time highs soon enough. But as always, XRP, along with a lot of the major altcoins, are highly correlated to each other, and especially to some degree what Bitcoin is doing, especially if the Bitcoin dominance is dumping like this. Once again, that is bullish for a lot of the altcoin market. But if Bitcoin's struggling a little bit in the short term, looking relatively neutral, and if Ethereum obviously is playing out a bit of a short-term pullback or chopping around sideways, a lot of the altcoins may see a little period of a cool down in the short term, maybe just consolidating sideways a little bit in the short term, getting ready for the next major move into new all-time highs in the case of XRP. But with that being said, there's not much else to add for the price of XRP, so getting straight into the price of Chainlink on the daily time frame, and currently we still have a massive bullish price target in play for the price of Chainlink, sitting at around $28 per Chainlink. So from the current price as of recording this video to that price target, that's still well over a 40% move towards the upside, around a 45% move towards the upside, and that's with no leverage. So potentially some major opportunities here for the price of Chainlink. But obviously between the current price and that price target, we'll likely find a lot of resistance along the way. And in case you're new to the channel, that price target comes from this massive double bottom pattern, also known as a W pattern, basically getting a measured move from this move right here, basically towards the breakout level right here, which was sitting in between around $17.50 to $18 as previous resistance, now acting as new support. And if we're taking a look at this daily Chainlink price chart, at least for now, Chainlink is indeed struggling at this exact golden pocket area of resistance in between $20 to $21. And obviously, I've been saying over the last 1 week or so, since before we reached that area, I said expect the price to struggle a lot in between $20 to $21. And so far, as soon as we entered that area just above $20, that's exactly where the price started to struggle at, as expected. And if we were to see a little bit more of a pullback or rejection from that area of resistance, in that situation, I would expect a lot of support at around basically in between $17.50 to $18, acting as significant support. So once again, at closer towards $18, start to expect a lot of support around there. And once again, a lot of resistance in between $20 to $21. But if we break out above that area with ideally daily candle closes confirming above $21 and actually holding that as new support, in that situation, the next major target towards the upside based on this Fibonacci level is sitting at around $24.30. So basically in between around $24 to $25 as the next major point of resistance and major price target. And then obviously above that area, we also have this major target at around $28. But for now, the immediate resistance to watch out for, once again, is in between $20 to $21. And if we're zooming into the shorter term, taking a look at the 4-hour Chainlink price chart, at least for now, and most likely over the next 1 or 2 days, once again, just in the immediate short term, we now have an active bearish divergence, which once again is technically confirmed, with higher highs now confirmed in the price in the candle closes and lower highs confirmed in the 4-hour Chainlink RSI. So as always, this means that we're losing bullish momentum in the immediate short term, and the most common outcomes, the most likely outcomes from a bearish divergence is either a slight pullback or at best a bit of choppy sideways price action as the most likely outcomes once again. And considering this is on the 4-hour time frame, usually a bearish divergence on the 4-hour chart plays out over a couple of days, give or take, before it starts to lose relevance. And so overall, we're still very much within a larger bullish trend, a major breakout. The larger timeframes are still once again looking extremely bullish, playing out bullish price structure. It's just in the immediate short term, maybe for a couple of days, give or take, expect a little bit of a cool off, a bit of a short-term pause during that larger bullish trend. And that's basically the same situation for a lot of the market, at least for now. And so this is the period in the market where you need to be set up ready to go to take advantage of the next major opportunities. And of course, to do that, you need to be set up ready to go on a crypto exchange. And once again, check out the links below this video to those exchanges if you want to claim the those massive bonuses that are only available using those links. And if you want to actually know how you can trade crypto no matter what the price is doing, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit during bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit during choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.